welcome to WAINGAFAT Wednesday, which is an acronym. If you don't know it, look it up in Urban Dictionary. It's what am I not giving a fuck about today? And today, it's not the Melbourne earthquake, okay? Don't be telling me I shouldn't be giving a fuck about the Melbourne earthquake and saying it wasn't serious. Don't take it away from us, man. That was some serious shit. That was real. That was like someone was shaking my window. I mean, if it was worse, I might have mistaken it for a truck driving past my house. We lived through a tremor that, if it was slightly worse, could have disturbed my drink. Alright? So don't take that shit away from us. That's fucking hardcore, and we lived through it. But that's not even my topic this week. My topic this week is one that's making people go a bit mental in Australia at the moment, and it's our richest woman in the world, one of the richest people in Australia, maybe the richest person in Australia. I can't even keep track. What's a few billion here and there? Gina Rinehart, who inherited the mining concerns of her dad, and who literally, by the way, for those who don't know, how did Lang Hancock get so rich? He literally stumbled across iron ore deposits. Owned a great big cattle property in Western Australia, had a forced landing on his plane one day, middle of nowhere, went, these rocks look a bit red. That's very sort of rust. It's like it's iron. I should have someone check this out. And he had several billion tons of iron ore on his property. Good luck. He got lucky. It's not smart. It's not hard work. You don't get to be the richest person in this weird system we have with hard work. By blind fucking luck is how it happens. Good luck to him, but just don't bullshit me about hard work. Jesus, if that stuff is hard work, if like, oh, they're taxing me too much, it's not worth mine. Fine, fuck off and walk away from it. I'll manage the mining concerns for $5 million a year, and I'll give all the rest of the money to the government. Just let me have the $5 million a year, and I'll do it without complaining. Seriously, when you've already got billions that you just lucked into, shut the fuck up. That was going to be a different video. That's clearly something I do give a fuck about. What I'm not giving a fuck about is Gina Rinehart is buying up shares in one of the more prestigious newspaper publishers in Australia, the Fairfax Group. They publish the two most notable papers they publish are the Sydney Morning Herald and The Age in Melbourne. They publish in other cities as well, but those are the two big ones. And these used to be cash cows. The classifieds for these papers was worth a fortune. Not anymore. The internet done for that. And the share price has dropped like 90% in the last couple of years. Rinehart's been buying it up, and it seems more than a tad obvious she wants to influence control. For want of a better word, these papers lean a bit to the left. They certainly don't lean as far to the right as the Murdoch-owned papers. And I think Rinehart would be happier if they did a few more sort of pro-mining things. And she certainly won't deny the fact that people going, you just want to dictate what they publish, don't you? You want your mouthpiece. Because when she got a bit of a shareholding in Channel 10, she put on the incredibly badly rated Andrew Bolt show just to push her politics. No one watches it, but it's there, and people are worried she'll do that to The Age and the Sydney Morning Herald. Honestly, I just don't give a fuck. It's not just that she has the legal right to buy up these papers. It's not just that don't work for someone if you don't like what they want you to do. I just don't give a fuck. It's the idea that these things are sacrosanct and they're perfect and they have to be there always. People think what they see today is what has always been. The newspapers of the latter part of the 20th century being, the purveyors of news, that get the independent view, that is just from the latter part of the 20th century. The newspapers originated as mouthpieces for rich people. Rich people, look back at the days of Hearst in the US, and all the publishers were just rich people publishing what they wanted published. Then advertising came along, particularly classified advertising in newspapers. They made enough money to subsist. The news was just stuff that was squeezed around the ads. That is all it has ever been. It's not been some noble calling. It's not been a quest for the truth. That's been a sidebar to selling ads. And even people saying, oh, people won't pay for a newspaper. The price of the newspaper was never the issue. The price was really just to stop it appearing like a throwaway. They made money from the advertising. They never made money from the cover price of the newspaper. So the idea of, oh, free news on the internet is killing the newspapers is horse shit. It's the better and cheaper advertising and more targeted advertising on the internet is killing the newspapers because it's taking away their advertising. If free news was better, well, got a bigger audience than paid news, these papers wouldn't have existed, certainly not in Australia and the UK, for ages, because we have the ABC and England has the BBC. And that was free and from a certain point of view, much more high quality news reporting than in these newspapers. But these newspapers still existed, and they only existed to sell advertising, and when they can't sell advertising, they cease to be of value. So yes, while I completely disagree with every public utterance I've ever heard from Gina Rinehart, while I really don't like the idea of them having some mouthpiece, I'll give you a hint. No one fucking cares about newspapers now. They're going to care less when it's obviously just a mouthpiece for these people. I mean, you know, people who pay attention to Murdoch press now are people who are too fucking stupid to know when they're being blatantly lied to. You don't need a second Murdoch press. You've already got one. I just can't bring myself to give a fuck. There's all these lefties wringing in their hands and, oh no, oh, we must do something about it. Fuck it. I don't care. If there is, you know, things change. The idea that you can freeze this particular moment in time and keep it forever, it's fucking ridiculous. The world changes. Newspapers like The Age and the Sydney Morning Herald didn't always exist, and they won't always exist. It's pointless to argue whether online journalism will be better or worse. It just will be. You know, it's the whole thing about, it's happened, okay? Now that the advertising has been taken away from these papers, it's never going back. It's the old adage about advertising that half the money was wasted, but no one knew which half. Online, you know exactly what does and doesn't work through click-throughs and all that sort of thing. So, you know, the advertising money has been taken away from these newspapers. It's never going back. Agonizing over it is fucking pointless. A rant about Gina Rinehart and her obnoxious mining buddies spreading absolute lies and talking shit and thinking they're better than everyone else because they fucking lucked into a fortune, that's a different story. But as for whether or not she buys up the Fairfax press and makes them print what she wants, I just don't give a fuck.